Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Debbie, and we're here today to talk about um, Google Plus Hangouts on Air and the value of having celebrity chats and celebrity and influencers in your business community. And what I'm going to share with you today is, what has worked for me. I launched my first Google Plus Hangouts on Air show in the fall of 2012, and it very, very quickly proved itself to be a positive tool, something that I had never before experienced in all my time in advertising and all my time as a community manager and social media. I'd never experienced something that had the celebrities in my field coming to me and creating that sort of attraction. And really what I'm going to share with you tonight is my methods and my tools, and really the processes that I've developed personally that have allowed me to have such celebrities and influencers on my show, as you see on the screen here tonight. So I'm really excited to be here tonight and to talk to you about what it means and what it can mean for you, because when you launch a Google Plus Hangouts on Air show and you have the sort of success that I've had and the type of experience that I've had with it, it's completely transformed my career, certainly, and the transformation is far from complete, but it's also transforming my entire life. And what does it mean? What would it mean to you to have suddenly your reputation change to the point where marketing and networking become easy, where it feels like the celebrities and the influencers are attracted to you, and you don't have to work so hard to prove yourself every day? And instead of showing off your successes, you can share your successes and help others come along as well with you. And really what it comes down to, for me, what I've discovered is that it comes down to knowing every day how important it is to stand out from the crowd, how important it is to share what's exceptional about you and about what you're working on. And the truth of the matter is that I've discovered is that it doesn't really work with Hangouts on Air to be overly cautious. Even if you're overly cautious on this side of erring on over-planning, that in itself can be something that becomes sort of like a money pit of time and energy. And the more effort that you put in, the more overall time that you put into planning something like a Hangout on Air, the more that program then has to perform in order for it to be worthwhile for the bosses or the clients or whoever your partner to approve it on an ongoing basis, and for it to be something that's obviously worth the time and the effort and the money. Something else that really has become clear to me is also that without having a really clear illustration of what it is that you're working to create, before you have a successful Google Plus Hangouts on Air show, before you know what it is that you're talking about, before you've created what it is that you're working on, it's really difficult to get anybody else to commit their time and effort or money to your show when you don't have anything to show them. So one of the things that you want to recognize, though, is that the time and the effort that you're putting in, the Hangout on Air show that you launch, it's going to build the reputation that you have in the marketplace, and it will make it easy for you to attract, excuse me, let me turn off that chime if I can. It will make it much easier for you to attract, I don't know if I can turn it off, to attract influencers and celebrities to your community and to the activity that you're working on. And it will just make your business seem to attract opportunities, bigger opportunities, better opportunities, and more often those opportunities with less effort. Everything can be changed about business. So we only have an hour tonight. That's why you heard that chimer go off before, because I did this recording earlier today and there was a tech error with my Hangout recording. So I'm doing it again for the second time today. The first time, I'm really happy to say, it was exactly 1 hour and 1 minute, and that was without having a clock available. So this time I'm doing it with a clock, and we'll see how I go. I only have an hour, so I'm going to go as far and give you as much detail and as much information as I can. And you're going to walk away tonight with a really, really clear understanding of the path that you can take to have a successful Google Plus Hangouts on Air show, in the same way that I've discovered and documented everything that I had to put into place to make it easy for me to continue producing on a regular basis Hangouts on Air that have celebrities and that have the expectations of an audience and the expectations of sponsors and of my clients and bosses of those shows. When you have a celebrity involved, everyone's expectations increase. So I had to create special situations and templates and forms and systems for myself in order to make it much easier. So I'm going to take you through them tonight. Excuse me, a little bit of water. And what I'm going to cover tonight is I am going to cover 3 main mistakes that I see people consistently, the clients that are coming to me, that they're focusing on the wrong things. And really, when you're allocating your time in the wrong way, it makes it, as I mentioned earlier, it makes it much, much more difficult for your Hangout on Air to be deemed successful by the people who give you approval in order to continue. So we'll cover those 3 mistakes so that you don't have to worry about that for yourself, and you can avoid them. I will make sure that I'm going to take you through the 6 I'm sorry about that. I'll take you through the 6 steps that I've developed in developing my own program, Celebrity Hangouts on Air, that allows me to really systematize and streamline the planning process for Google Plus Hangouts on Air. And I'm also going to make sure that you walk away tonight with the one key thing that I can give you a tip on that will change your ability to influence and to affect your Google search engine ranking for any keyword that you want for your content in 5 minutes for free at any time. So I'll take you through that tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'll go through the mistake number 1 at this point. Really, what is the most common thing, and I'm not quite sure where it comes from, because my background in my career is that I've been with Toronto advertising agencies and large brands, and as a media buyer and media investor since 1993, so for more than 20 years. And when you're purchasing an advertising campaign through an ad agency, it's always a different budget and a different team of people who execute the creation of the content and the recording of the commercials. And then it's a separate team that drive the audience to view the commercial by placing it on TV channels after it's been recorded. So now when I get called by ad agencies, the most interesting thing is that most frequently their number 1 question is, how many viewers can we get on the live broadcast? And what's the most viewers that we could get on the live broadcast? And it's interesting because, like all other traditional media, the reality with Google and YouTube is that while you can get more live viewers to it, it will always be more difficult to get the live viewers. And is it really in your best interest for what you're trying to achieve in business to focus on your limited planning time ahead of the live event, to focus that on trying to get live viewers there, which is a really difficult thing to do? Why not drive viewers to the content once it's already created? Once you know what content you have and how you can leverage it, then you drive the appropriate audience, and you know where you can find that appropriate audience based on your experience with other traditional media investments. So what I've developed through my experiences with my Hangout on Air show, if you don't know, I think I went through the slides at the beginning, was with my own show, Social Sparkle SOS, Book Authors and Publishers. What I discovered, the main pillars of planning Hangouts on Air that include celebrities, the key for me was about ensuring that your episodes have celebrity guests, that you have a draw, someone that the audience takes note, someone that your industry and that your peers takes note and looks at you and says, oh my goodness, can you believe that they're hanging out with Richard Branson? Oh my. Right? So it's the exact same thing as when you see everyone posting pictures of themselves with celebrities, with Gary Vaynerchuk, with Richard Branson, and that sort of social proof extends into Google+, it extends into YouTube for sure. And so what I propose with Celebrity Hangouts on Air as a business and marketing and communications tool is that it's really valuable to have the influence of celebrities, and especially people who are influential digitally, contributing to the innate and intrinsic search engine optimized value of a Google Plus YouTube live stream video chat. The second key is really with Google Plus Hangouts on Air shows, the minute that you schedule your Hangout on Air, regardless of how far in advance in the future your Hangout is actually going to take place, you receive the embed code for the video in the future the minute that you schedule it, which means that you can then take that embed code and use it to build a contracted and real-life relationship, a network of syndicate sites that will air your content for you. So without even producing a single episode, you could negotiate to have a network of other sites that have existing audience, so you can focus your energies, instead of on building audience one person by one person, you can focus your energies on producing the best quality content that doesn't yet exist in your marketplace. And then finally, what everyone loves is the idea of launching a show that has big brand name sponsors come in and drop big money bags on us and make all our dreams come true, which is, it's rarely so glamorous or so cartoon-like. But really there are some keys and some tricks that I've learned over the years about generating sponsor revenue and why people who have the budgets to spend on sponsorships and on advertising, why they allocate those budgets, what it is that triggers them to purchase when you're selling, and what they are looking for in their media kits. As I mentioned, I spent the better part of 15 years in advertising agencies as a media buyer, and so I spent probably close to $375 million over my career. And I know what it takes to sell someone who has the budget to spend, but who also has lots of other places to spend that budget in. So also, the final and really the foundational pillar of successful celebrity hangouts on air is about meeting the business objectives that the hangout on air is going to serve, and really understanding the importance of the hangout on air. So if you can't illustrate the value before you begin producing your show to the CFO or to your chief marketing officer or to your client, it's going to be that much more difficult to get their approval to go ahead. And certainly if you're talking about a client, it's next to impossible to be able to get a client to invest, especially ahead of time, sponsor revenue or just sponsoring an entire show if you really can't tell them about it. So I want to encourage you at this point to make sure that you really let me know what is it that you think is holding you back? What is it that has been limiting you so far from launching a web show online, either as a podcast or as a live stream or even as a Google Plus Hangout on air? And what is it that's held you back? What stopped you from being as successful as you know that you can be? Obviously, you know you have the opportunity since you've been trying, and you know you believe in yourself. What is it that stopped you? And I want to encourage you to put it in the comments. If you want, of course, you can private message me anywhere on Facebook or on Google+. I'd be happy to hear from you anytime. So really what I'm going to talk to you about now is about putting the pieces together. And I want you to take a moment to imagine what it would be like 6 months in the future when you have a regular Google Plus Hangout on air as a regular part of the socializing activities that your business partakes in, as a regular part of the community activities that your business partakes in. It even buys you advertising awareness brownie points in the system. And you become sort of like the social club leader of your community, and especially of the people who are attracted to or interested in hanging out with the celebrities that you've invited to your show. So once you've had your show for a few months and you're up and running, the truth of the matter is all of the planning and the fear and the difficulty, 90% of it melts away. For me, there's always a little bit of nervousness that I get before a big hangout on air. They're really important to me, and I get really excited about them. But the truth of the matter is it was really stressful for me at the beginning. And I'm happy to report that it's really not very stressful anymore now. Hangouts on air are the most wonderful thing in my business. It's not... well, Hangouts on air are the focus of my business, but it's been quite surprising because it is a big transformation. So what I want you to imagine is that that's happening for you. You've launched a show in your business that is pulling together on a regular basis people from your peer community, from your business, from your professional community, who are influencers, perhaps who are politicians, who are vendors, who are key community members, and you're able to hang out with them and have experiences like as I'm experiencing now with my own show with Sparkle SOS Book Authors and Publishers. I'm lucky to be having new celebrity authors booking on the show. And not only that, now that we're in the second season of Sparkle SOS Book Authors and Publishers, what's happened from season 1, I've been included in a number of books. And Gina is someone who, she hasn't been on my show before, but she did include me in her book, Clout Matters. So it's having the show is really starting to impact my own reputation and my own exposure and other people taking notice of me. And that's what happens when the more time that you spend around people who are influencers, who have these large platforms, they're looking for stories to share. And so I also had the opportunity. Mike Michalowicz is someone who I've been working with in the United States for just about 5 years now, and in the last year we've become quite a bit closer because I met with him, I believe for the first time. We met in person in San Francisco at his Creative Live taping last September, and I had the opportunity, as he was sharing the Profit First system, I had the opportunity to actually have Mike take my business through his Profit First accounting approach, and it was really, it was an eye-opening experience for me, and I think both Mike and I were really quite affected by it. It really, not only did it impact, I mean, it impacted my business, it's impacted my life in a really positive way. And I'm happy to say Mike wrote about the experience of me sharing my business and my feedback upon the Profit First assessment. He included it in his book, and that's something that is not a small thing for someone like me. It's when you don't have the funds, or you're not investing in the funds for publicity, if you're a small business or you're a solopreneur, one of the things that is really important to you is when you can find people who are willing to sponsor you with their political capital and willing to help your business in ways that are priceless. And being included in Mike's book in the way that he has included me is really a show of support and confidence for my business and for what I'm doing. And so that's the sort of thing that having a successful Hangout on Air show can do. Another example is Thought Leader Life with Michael Procopio was in the level 1 Celebrity Hangouts on Air training that we did in November, and following that level 1 training, Michael dutifully partnered up with another business peer, Mitchell Levy, who is a publisher, and together they launched Thought Leader Life. And they've just passed 26 episodes, and for episode 26 they interviewed Jeffrey Hazlett, who absolutely to me is certainly a business celebrity. And not only that, but they also having a weekly show, and they've really implemented the Celebrity Hangouts on Air training really well. It's allowed them to create systems for their show so that they have a weekly, Michael has shared with me the weekly to-do list, and I turned it into a PDF that's available as a free download. And he says really his planning for the week, for the weekly show, is about 5 hours in total. And what it does when you have these celebrities in your show, when you're regularly and on a frequent basis demonstrating the social capital that your business carries by having these influential and celebrity people on your show, it makes it really easy for you to propose your business to them and to the businesses that are in their inner circle and the organizations and brands around them within their inner circle. So it really is about increasing your influence and your social capital by hosting, by taking on the effort and the work to host the show. And the best way that I've discovered to do that, I created what I call the pitch planning document, or pitch planning sales blueprint for Google Plus Hangouts on Air. And as you can see in the bottom right of the screen, it is available as a free download for you as part of watching this, this webinar. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and you can get that. It is available for purchase online, so grab it today for free. And it comes with a video training as well as download and access to the document online so that you can see exactly how I have comments and notes on a couple of sample documents. So that one of the things you can do is really plan out the future of your show for at least 18 months or at least 18 episodes. That could be less than a half a year, or it could be, in the case of me, it could be more than a year and a half. I don't even do Sparkle SOS Book Authors and Publishers every month now. It's a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes it's twice a month, sometimes it's 6 times in 6 months, and no times in 6 months. But it's really important. It is valuable to have a regular schedule set up for your Hangout on Air. And the reason for that is that it gives celebrities and it gives people something to think about, something to anchor in their mind, something to consider for the future, without having to disturb you, without having to go through the process of actually checking what's available and booking and maybe not being the right fit at the right time. It allows people to plan the future, and it allows them to approach you when the time is right. So I like to use that pitch planning document. It's probably become the most important document that I have in my Hangouts on Air process, and it is what I didn't have the pitch planning document existing at this time when Guy Kawasaki, if he asked me if he could be on the show at some point. What made it so easy for me to get him on the show and to get him booked, I had him booked within a couple of hours of him asking me, when I posted the video from the night before into the community, and he asked me, I had him booked for the next episode that I had available within a few hours of this. And the reason why was because I had my schedule planned ahead of time, 6 months. And it was so easy. Once Guy said, you know, can I do this? And I said, yes, of course. He sent me an email and said, you know, send the schedule of availabilities and openings to so-and-so, and we'll book something. And he booked the very first opening that I had, even though I told him, you know, here's the tentative schedule that I've planned out for the next 6 months. If none of these works for you, just let me know, and I'll book something that works for you, because in my mind, the bigger the celebrity and the bigger the draw of the audience and their influence to the video, even after we've recorded the event, the more worthwhile it is to me to cater around their schedule. And so Guy Kawasaki was someone who I'm absolutely willing to cater around any schedule they want. So one of the big questions that I get asked really frequently is, how is it that I make money? How do I monetize Google Plus Hangouts on Air? And for me, my preferred method of doing it is as a professional Google Plus Hangouts on Air producer. And you know, for the most part, I am being compensated by organizations and work with brands that they're not playing around with their Hangout on Air. So it's a serious investment of their time and their money and their energy. And so they're willing to invest. And frequently they are venture capital or government funded organizations. So they'll have lots of staff allocated to, or staff who are dedicated to allocating the budgets that they've received in an annual year and managing the allocations of the budgets. And so I find it really quite easy to get hired as a Google Plus Hangouts on Air producer for organizations who have venture capital funding or who have government funding, because they don't have the skill or the ability or the time, and they don't want to take the risk when they do have the budget to hire people. And so I'm being compensated in the range of $1,000 to $10,000 per episode of Google Plus Hangout on Air, producing there. And there, from what I'm seeing, there's almost unlimited unlimited opportunity if you're willing to go out and curate those opportunities within the marketplace for yourself. The second way that I see opportunities for monetizing Google Plus Hangouts on Air is really in recognizing the organizations that are already investing significant budgets, significantly, and I would say, 1,000% more than what they would invest into the Google Plus Hangout on Air on an annual basis. It's really easy to see who are the organizations that are spending a lot of money and a lot of effort and time in creating search engine optimized content for their website, and who are investing significant budgets on a monthly basis into search engine marketing, which is Google AdWords, paying cost per click to drive traffic to pages that are search engine optimized on their website or to other pages on the web. And then the third way, that second way, it's a really, there's a lot of money if you're good at moving money around for your clients. If you're good at showing them opportunities where they can leverage their budget by making small tweaks and small changes, which is a skill, something that I would do frequently as a media buyer and media strategist, then you can really make a lot of money providing Google Plus Hangouts on Air as an opportunity to leverage and to optimize their efforts in Google SEO and Google SEM, because they're probably spending 10 times what I would recommend here. And so the third way really is sponsorship and advertising sales, which is what everyone is most interested in. And I gotta say, it's surprisingly easy with Google Plus Hangouts on Air to rationalize and to create sponsorships and clients who are interested in purchasing sponsorships for Hangout on Air shows when you present it properly, when you have the right information to show them, to demonstrate what the impact and the results will be on their business by integrating properly into the content of your show. It's really easy then to find sponsorship and integrated advertising sales. Integrated advertising sales being, excuse me, needed to take a sip of water. Integrated advertising sales being, instead of just grabbing a sponsor logo and putting it up on screen and saying that that's, that space and the amount of times that you put up their logo is your fulfillment of the advertising contract, integrating the client right into the content, into the discussion in the most relevant way is probably the easiest way to open up the door for advertising sales, because in order to qualify your advertisers, you have to put them through a rigorous process of negotiations just to have them qualify to even fit to be considered to purchase advertising sales. And if they do qualify, then the good news is they already have budget that they're allocating, and if you can rationalize it and show them the information that they're looking to see, you will absolutely be able to get pretty much any budget that you're looking for, because they do have it and it's available. So what I've listed here I think is pretty low. Sorry about my throat. As I mentioned, this is the second time that I'm doing this exact presentation today, so my voice is starting to get a little bit sore, but I'm still going to power through for you, and I'm excited to be here and still always happy to share it. And you know what? I'm actually even happy to have a second opportunity because it's better this time. So really what I've been able to develop through my experiences with Google Plus Hangouts on Air is an understanding of three main pillars of my approach to Google Plus Hangouts on Air planning. And it's allowed me to change my business focus so that I can focus on Google Plus Hangouts on Air all the time and offer my clients who are producing their own Hangouts on Air shows supplemental and complementary a la carte services for their shows, where I can produce shows for them and be there as an assistant or a director producer for them. And I can help them in the distribution and contract their simulcast and syndication partners, which is really the foundation to monetizing your audience. You need to have an audience in order to be able to monetize your audience. And really contracting your show sponsors, it's all about prospecting and negotiating the right people and then just placing the right information in front of them. When you have enough of the right prospects that you know are people that are spending advertising budgets on an annual basis on media that attracts audiences similar to yours, if you can show that your cost and the returns and the results that you'll create will be similar to where they're already spending money, you have the opportunity to reallocate a lot of their budget towards your own activities. Give me 1 second, please. Water sip. Two webinars in one day is difficult. My throat is drying. So mistake number 2 that I see people doing when they're trying to do their Hangout on Air really is trying to do it all yourself. And I understand why. I know when we're in social media, the thing is, you know, you don't want to take anyone else down with you. You don't want to discover after hours of working on something that you can't figure it out, that you can't move ahead, that the time was wasted. You don't want to bring other people with you down that path. But the truth of the matter is that a Hangout on Air show that doesn't actually achieve your business objectives, that doesn't elevate your influence and your reputation in the marketplace, that doesn't bring business opportunities, that doesn't start to develop a lead generation system that runs almost on automatic associated with the show, all of that happens when you try and do it all yourself. And the thing about Google Plus Hangouts on Air, because it's Google Plus, because it's Google, and it's associated with YouTube, and because it's a panel of chat, the more people that you can have on the screen with you on your Hangouts on Air, the more SEO value each person brings, and the more audience and platform excitement each person brings, and it almost multiplies it. And brings more value that you're hosting, that you're credited for, that you are given responsibility and thanks for creating, that brings value in that conversation to your entire industry. The third mistake that I see people making when they're launching their Hangout on Air show is they try and sell advertising and sponsorship packages instead of really creating results for their sponsors. And again, that goes back to integrated content, timely segments, and making sure that the sponsors are relevant from the beginning, that they go through the process of qualifying themselves as relevant to the conversation in that particular episode and to the audience. And then it becomes really, really easy to craft a customized segment within the conversation that they can host, that they can present, or that they can moderate, and that is a natural fit for them in the conversation. And that's a way of really creating results for your sponsors, so that even though, yes, you're going to be contracting certain amounts of sponsorship packages or advertising space, it really is the results that your sponsors experience, the business results that they experience, that will have them coming back season again and again, and increasing their sponsorship with you each time. So as I mentioned, I'm going to give you the one key tip, the one key tool that is going to knock your socks off in 5 minutes that you can do while you're listening to me even. And this is really the key, the thing that excites me the most about Google Plus Hangouts on Air, is that, and this is pretty new, is that when you, well, it's pretty new that you can schedule a Google Plus Hangout on Air for the future. Now, when you schedule a Google Plus Hangout on Air for the future, what happens is it creates the YouTube page, sort of like a page bookmark for the future. It creates everything about the page, and in the spot of the video where you would have the produced video, it puts a gray box, as you can see on the screen, with a play button. And if anyone clicks on that play button, what they get is a countdown clock to the exact time and minute and second that your Hangout on Air in the future is going to begin. And so one of the things that I really like to do with Hangouts on Air is I like to take over the top of Google search for a particular keyword myself in a few seconds for free by scheduling a future Google Plus Hangout on Air on Google Plus with the keywords that I want in the title of my Hangout and in the description of my Hangout. And that will put me up at the top of Google search. Here, this was the first time I ever noticed that I grabbed the screen capture, and it was on February 23rd. And out of 16,100,000 results in less than, it was 7 minutes after when I saw and grabbed the screen image, I was #1 on the page for Canadian Olympic Team Hangouts on Air. And I was sure that the Canadian Olympic team would have had some other Hangouts on Air, but no, I was right up on top in just a few minutes after the Canadian Olympic team, hockey team, had just been presented their world gold trophies, medals, gold medals. It was really shocking to me to discover how quickly I could get up on top of Google. Now, the other thing is, as I mentioned, you can schedule the Google Plus Hangout on Air for as far in advance of the future as you want, which allows you the opportunity to negotiate and contract and secure the support of a network of affiliates that have an established and large audience that is already interested in and hungry for and waiting for your content, your unique conversation. And that really is the embed code. That's the most amazing thing about Google Plus Hangouts on Air that I can give you for the moment. And the way that you do that is really just through Google Plus. Go into Hangouts and schedule a Hangout on Air for the future, and just make sure that the keywords that you want to have your video go up at the top of Google search with are in the title of your Hangout on Air and are in the description of the Hangout on Air. And you can put right in the first few lines of the description, you can put a lead opt-in page or lead opt-in link. And you can start driving traffic to YouTube link on Google search that you haven't even recorded yet. So what I want you to think about really is what it would feel like to create that level of freedom in your business where every day is full, where every day you've got new clients and new opportunities and new influential people calling you and saying that they had heard about you, and easily signing contracts because they trust you, because they've seen you, because they've seen you interact and engage with people who they trust, with people who they've spent money with in the past, with people who they really perhaps would like to spend money with now, but they can't afford. But they've seen you with that person, and therefore they'll hire you instead. And that's one of the keys that's really worked for me with social media, was that I always in social media associated myself and my profiles with people who were significantly more established and influential than myself. And I would partner with them. And just in the process of helping them, the people that weren't a fit for them, or that they were too expensive or didn't have the time to work with, many of those people would naturally gravitate towards me. And really, with your Hangout on Air, what I want you to think about is, what would it mean to change your life? What is the life that you're working to create in your business, in your career, in all this work that we put in? What is it that you're really working towards? What is the vision that you have in your head for yourself and for your life? And for me, I'll share that with you. I'm a geeky, romantic person. I probably have seen the movie Notting Hill 100 times. I was going to say 1,000,000 times, but certainly not. 100 times. And I know that even though it's a 1999 movie, I believe, so 15 years, I know that the Celebrity Hangouts on Air, that Sparkle SOS book authors and publishers, the feeling of it for me was directly inspired by this one particular scene, the last brownie contest in the movie Notting Hill. And for me, it's a feeling of having a dinner party in my home, a relaxed opportunity to have dinner with people who are in my profession, who are extremely influential, who I admire, who contribute a lot of political capital and social capital to my efforts and my causes, and who are working on things that are similar to my own causes and to my own business and what I'm working on. So when we come together, we're both driven by the same desired outcome. And I like the idea of having a frequent dinner party with my professional peers and people that I aspire to be more like, and the people who contribute to my business. I like to befriend them and to spend time with them and to be involved with them. But for me, really, I'm hoping to create a business that will allow me to start to settle down and to develop more stronger relationships and more significant relationships in my life, and take the time to, I've certainly spent a lot of time reflecting and self-reflection, but even more time to reflect and to relax and to enjoy. And if you know me, I like to create a business that feels more like socializing than like work. And so you'll frequently find me having business meetings and events over a meal or sushi with people who are similar to me, who are working on some of the same things. So what I want to come back to now is really, what is it still about your challenges? What is it that you think would trip you up or get in the way when you're launching your Google Plus Hangout on Air? And what I talked about earlier was that without having a clear illustration of what it is that you're creating with your Hangout on Air, it's hard to get anybody else to commit to contributing their time and money and energy to your project when you can't demonstrate what's in it for them. But the bottom line is, really, without having a firm belief in what you're creating and why, and the results that you intend to achieve and enjoy, it's hard to get yourself to commit that amount of time and money and effort that you'll need to commit to have a successful Hangout on Air. If you don't, there's a good chance that you'll be like so many of the other Google Plus Hangouts on Air shows that are well-intentioned and have a significant amount of effort and time and money and hopes and dreams put into them, but really the delivery is poor. And whether you watch it or not, you hope you forget. It's hard to market a show that you aren't happy with how it was recorded. And it's difficult to know if you don't have the experience, if you haven't had the practice, it's difficult to know what it is that you're supposed to focus on in the planning of your Hangout on Air. And for most of us, especially for me when I started, I didn't have anyone guiding me on how to plan the Hangout on Air. So I'm going to share with you now the 6 steps. I made you the promise I would share with you the 6 steps that I think that you need to have a successful Google Plus Hangout on Air. So really the first step is making sure that you understand the purpose your Google Plus Hangout on Air show is going to serve your business. So you want to research the marketplace and find out what conversation is already happening in all other media, and take note of who are the big names and the celebrities that are participating in those conversations. Also take note of all of the advertisers and sponsors that are spending money and contributing their political and social capital to supporting that media and that conversation. The likelihood is if you create a different and important conversation for the same community, they're going to want to participate and support your conversation as well. And they'll probably be thanking you for it. But the important thing is that if you're going to be able to rationalize it for the people who are going to give you approval, if it's clients or your employer or your partners in business or just yourself, if you want to rationalize it, my recommendation is that you really make sure you focus on a subject matter and a niche, a really specific and defined niche with your show. I know you want to be general and audience and appeal to everyone, but it will be so much easier to make your show a success when it's really clearly specific and defined. Like Sparkle SOS Book Authors and Publishers is a peer hangout for book authors from aspiring to best-selling. We're really clear about what we are. And you want to be just as clear with your show. So my recommendation is, if you're unsure of what to start with, where to start with something that is really connected to your business and your passion. And that way you'll know that you'll have the support and the internal support to want to continue with it. So step 2, you want to make sure that you plan out the long-term vision of your show. And this goes back to the Pitch Planning Sales Blueprint. That document, as I mentioned, it is available for you to download for free. I want you to grab a copy of it. It allows you to outline for yourself so that you can get really, really clear with yourself about why you're doing this, how you're going to do it, who you're going to be involving. And what I really want you to focus on is 18 episodes down the road. Where are you? I want you to write the document as though you've already got 18 episodes in your belt. And that's going to help you get really, really clear about where you're going. And the important thing about that is this is going to streamline everything. Everyone that you have to pitch and sell and convince to participate or contribute to your show, to making it a success for your business. Having this document, what it allows you to do is to understand the value that your show is going to bring to everyone else that you need to bring in to participate and to contribute in making it a success for you. So I really strongly recommend it. I can't recommend it enough. Excuse me. Give me a sip of water. I'm having fun. I hope you're sticking with me. I'm so glad you have stuck with me. So step number 3, when you're planning your Google Plus Hangout on Air, you really want to make sure that you plan the details of your next episode. And you always want to have one central document, not only for your entire show, which would be that Pitch Planning Sales Blueprint is the one central document for your entire series of shows, but you want to have one central document for each episode of your show. And so step 3 is making sure that you have that one central document that allows you to just share specific information about that one episode with key people who are involved and participating and committed to participating in helping make that show a success, and also so that you keep in mind and you understand what are the sponsor requirements that you've already committed yourself to serving. And you want to make sure that you do serve those sponsor requirements during the live recording, because if you don't, you might have to make good or refund the client the sponsor budget that they've allocated to you. Step number 4 is really making sure that you are you're making the choice of marketing your Google Plus Hangout on Air show before the live recording, and choosing whether or not you're going to be marketing for a live audience, or you're just going to be marketing the show for post-recording audience. And really spending your time prior to the show, this last step before you go into the live recording, you want to make sure that you can take your time to confirm that the conversation is going to be good, that your guests and your participants are prepared and ready with the tech for the show before you go live. And then step 5, of course, is all about your big day, the live recording of the show, and everything that you have to go through to ensure that you're welcoming your celebrity guests, that you have your volunteers, that they know what their responsibilities are, what they're doing, and when and where, that your panel is able to get on the show, and that their tech is working, and even that your audience can find the show. If you put a lot of effort into ensuring that you do have a live audience, a large live audience for the live recording, it's really a sad thing when it doesn't materialize at the end because you haven't given them a clear enough path to the live viewing. And so really, my recommendation is focus at the beginning, at least, on recording the best quality content every episode that you can, and enjoying the experience of connecting with your celebrity and influential guests, because it might be an experience that you only have once. You might only have one opportunity to connect with them as a person and to influence or to impress upon them what you can bring to them in the future. And so the less that you focus on the tech and everything else during the live recording, the more that you can focus on your guests and enjoying the experience and creating a great conversation, the better off you'll be. It's really not about the live audience. The live audience is the most difficult audience to get, as I mentioned earlier. Step 6 is really all about optimizing and repurposing your Hangout on-air video content. So once you've recorded the video content, in my mind, then you've completed about 25% of the entire project. And the reason why it's only about 25% is because you now have this socially charged video chat object that includes you socializing and having relevant and important conversation for your industry with influencers and with celebrities. You own this content for the rest of your life, and not only can you use it in its original form as a YouTube video, you can also repurpose it and send it over to podcasts, and you can create clips of it, and you can create quotes and images and all sorts of white papers and PDFs and presentations, and it is really documenting a social experiment, a social growth, but it's really about the most valuable use, waiting to see sometimes. With my Sparkle SOS book authors and publishers with Guy Kawasaki, I wasn't prepared to be able to monetize it properly. Even the tool itself couldn't have monetized it the way that I am now 18 months later. That one Hangout on Air I'm actually making money from now that I never did when we first recorded. And that's okay. I've probably had 95% of the views of the video came after the live recording. Even though it was one of my largest live viewing audiences, it's still, most people will watch a video on their own schedule. When you send it to them and make it available to them on their own schedule, they will watch it, they will enjoy it, and that's the important thing. It's not about having them there on your schedule. So what I have to propose to you tonight really is a mastermind program that includes level 1 of Celebrity Hangouts on Air, which was created with a small group of professional social media content producers. I took them through the level 1 Celebrity Hangouts on Air training, which is a 6-part video training. And since then, we've also been able to create a whole library, a set of templates and swipe files and checklists and cheat sheets that you can use and share that will help make your Google Plus Hangout on Air show planning, to make a customized and a signature show that will be successful for you, to make it that much easier. And when you purchase in the mastermind this evening, you will be getting immediate lifetime access to the full 6-part video training. It was originally presented and taken through as a 6-week training, but if it's more your style to go through it all at once, you can do that because you'll have immediate access. And then in addition, of course, because this is a mastermind, we're going to have weekly group calls to address any challenges that you're having. And as a group, I really want us to be accountable to each other so that we can push one another to transform and to really take advantage of a limited time that we have with each other as a mastermind together so that we can all get better together. And in the mastermind, of course, you'll have access to a private members area for the mastermind recordings that only people who are in the mastermind will have access to. They will be private recordings only for those of us who are in the mastermind group. And then the really exciting thing, what I'm really super excited to dive deeper into the 4 pillars of Celebrity Hangouts on Air that I've been creating for professionals especially. And so level 2 Celebrity Hangouts on Air training will happen as, I haven't set the schedule for it yet. I'm going to wait to see what works best for everyone who's in the mastermind, who's going to be on the live training, who wants to participate in the level 2. It will be included for you in this mastermind that you participate in the level 2 live training. You don't have to, but you're welcome to, and it's included in the mastermind for you. So that program is going to be more focused for the professionals on the pillars of those Hangouts on Air, where we have celebrity guests, creating a syndication network that is really clear, that is structured, that is even contracted, so you know exactly what your potential audience is that is being created by that network of other sites carrying your show, that you can have sponsor sales that are secured and contracted months in advance of time, even for a complete season, and that every single time you do a Google Plus Hangout on Air show, whether it be for your own business or for a client, that you know exactly the business objectives that you're likely to meet. And as I mentioned, of course, you'll have the opportunity to participate in that live video, which when you're looking at the level 1 training, if you are coming in new to Celebrity Hangouts on Air, you'll see people like Michael Procopio and Rodney Washington and Dory Clark who participated in the level 1 training, Michael Procopio and Rodney Washington, and it transformed their business. It transformed what they were working on. And so I'm really excited that you'll be able to see them in the level 1 video, and it will give you an understanding of how impactful it can be to really participate and embrace the opportunity to hang out with me live and to really get your your questions answered so that you can move forward and stop just dreaming and stop being too careful. And really, take a few risks, take some big leaps, let your heart lead you and dream and see what happens, because I know that you have it inside of you. I know that you've got something different that no one else has been even able to identify, that nobody else has seen, that you are struggling to just get out there. And really, the one thing that I can say is that it's up to you to embrace the opportunity that the world has put in front of you. I did, and it has changed my life. And so I welcome you. I hope that you will join me. You can find the link at celebrityhangoutsonair.com/hangoutmastermind. You'll see the option there. The regular is, at the moment, it's $397 for a 3-pay. The 3-pay is actually going away. It's closing June 20th, Friday at midnight. So that would be Saturday, midnight Pacific. So 3 a.m. Eastern time Saturday. And then there is a 2-pay. I didn't get it onto the slide. It's 2-pay by $547. A 2-pay. If you want that, just reach out to me and let me know, and I'll arrange it, because I didn't get it onto the page. And then, of course, there is the option as well, if you want to save and you can do the 1-pay, you'll be able to get it for $997, which is an incredible price, because this Hangout Mastermind is actually a program that I am going to be making available on an ongoing basis. Once we have the level 2 up and there, it's going to be a $2,000 program that I'm putting in at the beginning of August. So take advantage, join me as soon as you can. I really appreciate you sticking through with this video. I do want you to grab a copy of the free download for the pitch planning sales blueprint. That's my swipe copy. There's actually 2 different versions that you can access and use, and see if they give you any ideas or any clarity. And you know, if it doesn't work for you, that's okay, but I really hope that it does, and people give me great feedback on it. So I really hope that it works for you, and I hope I'll see you inside the mastermind. Talk to you soon, and thank you so much for watching tonight.